The Ukrainian Air Force is a part of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian Air Force headquarters is located in the city of Vinnytsia. When the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, a large number of aircraft were left on Ukrainian territory. Ever since, the Ukrainian Air Force has been downsizing and upgrading its forces. In spite of these efforts, the main inventory of the Air Force consists of Soviet-made aircraft. Currently 36,300 personnel and 187 aircraft are in service in the Ukrainian Air Force and Air Defense Forces, but approximately only 80 aircraft are airworthy. All ICBMs and strategic bombers have been taken out of service. Since 1991's Ukrainian independence, the Air Force has suffered from chronic underinvestment, leading to the bulk of its inventory becoming mothballed or otherwise becoming inoperable. The Air Force takes currently part in the 2014 insurgency in Donbas. Mission. The tasks of the Air Force of Ukraine are, winning operational air superiority, delivering airstrikes against enemy units and facilities, covering troops against enemy airstrikes, providing air support to the land force and the Navy, disrupting enemy military and state management, damaging and destroying enemy communication, and providing support by air in the form of reconnaissance, airdrops, troops and cargo transportation. The major mission of the Air Force is to protect the airspace of Ukraine. In peacetime, this is carried out by flying airspace control missions over the entire territory of Ukraine, and by preventing airspace intrusion along the aerial borders. Every single day, more than 2,200 service personnel and civilian employees of the Air Force, employing 400 items of weapons and equipment, are summoned to perform defense duties. On average, the Ukrainian radar forces detect and track more than 1,000 targets daily. As a result, in 2006 2 illegal crossings of the state border were prevented and 28 violations of Ukrainian airspace were prevented. Due to such increased strengthening of airspace control, the number of airspace violations decreased by 35% compared to the previous year, even though the amount of air traffic increased by 30%. History. Collapse of the USSR. The Ukrainian Air Force was established on March 17, 1992, in accordance with a directive of the General Staff Chief of the Armed Forces. The headquarters of the 24th Air Army of the Soviet Air Force in Vinnytsia served as the basis to create Air Force headquarters. Also present on Ukrainian soil were units of the former Soviet 5th, 14th, and 17th Air Armies, plus 5 regiments of the 46th Air Army, long-range aviation. In addition, the 161st Maritime Fighter Aviation Regiment, at Limanskoye in Odessa Oblast, came under Ukrainian control. It had formerly been part of the 119th Maritime Fighter Aviation Division of the Black Sea Fleet. The new Air Force inherited the 184th Guards Heavy Bomber Aviation Regiment of Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack, which were based at Pryluki. Discussions with Russia concerning their return bogged down. The main bone of contention was the price. While Russian experts, who examined the aircraft at Pryluki in 1993 and 1996, assessed their technical condition as good, the price of $3 billion demanded by Ukraine was unacceptable. The negotiations led to nowhere, and in April 1998, Ukraine decided to commence scrapping the aircraft under the Nunn-Lugar Cooperative Threat Reduction Agreement. In November, the first Tu-160 was ostentatiously chopped up at Pryluki. In April 1999, immediately after NATO began air attacks against Serbia, Russia resumed talks with Ukraine about the strategic bombers. This time they proposed buying back 8 Tu-160s and 3 95 ms models manufactured in 1991, as well as 575 Kh-55 ms missiles. An agreement was finally reached and a contract valued at $285 million was signed. That figure was to be deducted from Ukraine's debt for natural gas. A group of Russian military experts went to Ukraine on October 20, 1999 to prepare the aircraft for the trip to Engels Air Base. Between November 1999 and February 2001 the aircraft were transferred to Engels. 1 Tu-160 remains on display in Poltava. Ukraine also had 2 Tupolev Tu-22s, Tupolev to 22 milliseconds and Tupolev to 95s for a period after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The 106th Heavy Bomber Aviation Division, part of the 37th Air Army, operated some of them. However, these have all been scrapped, apart from a handful displayed in museums. Tu-16 and Tu-22M bombers were among the aircraft destroyed under the Conventional Forces in Europe Treaty. It is reported that Tu-16s based with the 251st Heavy Bomber Aviation Regiment at Bielotsikov were dismantled in 1993. By 1995, the IISS Military Balance 1995/96 listed no Tu-22 blinders in service, though a listing for one division headquarters and 2 regiments of Tu-22M backfires remained in the military balance from 1995/96 to 2000/01. From January 24, 1992, after the collapse of the USSR, 28th Air Defense Corps, previously subordinate to 2nd Air Defense Army, was transferred under the 8th Air Defense Army of Ukraine. Units stationed in Moldova were transferred to the Moldovan Armed Forces. There were about 67,000 air defense troops in 1992. The headquarters of the Ukrainian Air Defense Force was formed on the basis of Headquarters 8th Air Defense Army. There were also 3 Air Defense Corps, the 28th, 49th, and 60th. Home reports that all 3 Air Defense Corps were taken over by Ukraine on February 1, 1992, and that the 28th ADC became the Western AD region on June 1, 1992. The first issue of the military balance after the Soviet collapse, 1992-93, listed 1 Air Defense Army, 270 combat aircraft, and 7 regiments of Su-15s, MiG-23s and MiG-25s. By March 1994, Air Force's monthly reported 3 air defense regions, the southern with the 62nd and 737th Fighter Aviation Regiments, the western with the 92nd, 179th, and 894th Fighter Aviation Regiments, and the central with the 146th, 636th, and 933rd Fighter Aviation Regiments. The military balance 95/96 said that 6 fighter regiments had been disbanded. On March 18, 1994, the 5th Air Army was redesignated the 5th Air Corps. By 1996 there were 2 Air Corps, the 14th in the Carpathian MD and the 5th in the Odessa MD, which by that time incorporated the former Kiev MD area. The long-range bomber division at Poltava was still operational, reporting directly to Air Force headquarters. Chronic underinvestment period. Since 1991's Ukrainian independence, the Air Force has suffered from chronic underinvestment, leading to the bulk of its inventory becoming mothballed or otherwise becoming inoperable. The structural reorganization of the Air Force had set as goals for itself this efficiently reducing the total number of command and control levels, and increasing the efficiency of command and control processes. The reorganization of command and control elements of the Air Force is still underway. The first step of this organization was to transition from the existing air commands to the command and control and warning center systems. This will not only help eliminate duplications at the command and control levels, but will also contribute to an increased centralization of the command and control system, the multifunctionality of the command and control elements, and effectiveness of response to the change of air conditions. 2006 saw the definition of the functions and tasks, organization and work of the C2 and Warning Center, as well as the mechanism of interaction with the establishment of the Air Operations Center and Joint Operational Command. During the Command and Staff exercise, one of the Air Force commands has in effect performed control of C2 and Warning Center a Euro formation level. The N-24 and N-26 aircraft, as well as the anti-aircraft artillery systems S-300 and Bike M1, have been continually modernized, and their service life has been extended. An organizational basis and technological means for modernizing MiG-29, Su-24, Su-25, Su-27, L-39 has been produced. Given sufficient funding from the Verkhovna Rada, the defense industrial complex of Ukraine, in cooperation with foreign companies and manufacturers, is capable of fully renewing the aircraft arsenal of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. In 2005, the UAF was planning to restructure in an effort to improve efficiency. Moreover, Ukraine was planning to put more advanced jet aircraft into service in upcoming years, possibly buying newer Su-27s and MiG-29s from Russia. The plans were that from approximately 2012, Ukraine would have to either take bold steps to create a new combat aircraft or purchase a large number of existing combat aircraft. Due to the lack of funding, however, technical modernization was continually postponed. The Ukrainian Air Force continued to use armament and military equipment which functioned mainly thanks to so-called a Euro cannibalization, a Euro unregistered trademark, thus gradually depleting their total capabilities. Faced with the threat of losing military capability, initiating the process of technical modernization became a necessity. In 2006, a large number of aging weapons and equipment were decommissioned from combat service by the Air Force. This presented an opportunity to use the released funds to the modernization of various items of aviation and anti-aircraft artillery weapons and equipment, radio communication equipment, and flight maintenance equipment, as well as an improvement of Air Force personnel training. In 2011, International Institute for Strategic Studies estimates that Ukraine's Air Force includes one Sukhoi Su-24M regiment, 5 regiments with MiG-1 MiG-29s and Sukhoi Su-27, 1 regiment with Sukhoi Su-25, 2 squadrons with Sukhoi Su-24 Mr., 3 transport regiments, some support helicopter squadrons, 1 helicopter training regiment, and some air training squadrons with L-39 Albatros. They are grouped into the 5th and 14th Aviation Corps, the 35th Aviation Group, which is a multi-role rapid reaction formation, and a training aviation command. The IISS assesses the overall force size as 817 aircraft of all types and 43,100 personnel. Russian sources disagree and list 3 aviation groups. The automated systems of collection, processing and transmission of radio information have been adopted as a component part of the automated command and control system for aviation and air defense. Operational service testing of the circular surveillance radar station has also been completed. Prototypes of high-precision weapons systems, electronic warfare devices, and navigation equipment have been created and developed for state testing. Role in the 2014 Crimean crisis. In the 2014 insurgency in Donbas, following the March 2014 Russian annexation of Crimea and the following violence and insurgency in East Ukraine, Ukraine tried to increase its defense spending, with returning equipment to service being a key part of the spending drive. During the 2014 Crimean crisis, the Air Force did not fight but lost several aircrafts to Russia, most were returned to Ukraine. The Air Force is currently taking part in the conflict against the 2014 insurgency in Donbas. During this conflict it lost several planes and helicopters. In 2014, the Air Force announced that it will be bringing back 68 aircraft that have been in reserve since the collapse of the Soviet Union, including the Tu-141 reconnaissance drone. Since July 12, 2014, the Ukrainian Air Force has been put on full combat alert. Around this date, the Air Forces started restoring its former military airfields in Vozneshensk, Byalik and Shevanolinsk. Wall Street Journal published USA Embassy report from Kiev that Ukraine on the southeast lost 19 planes and helicopters in the period April 22–22 July 2014. Training activities have taken on a qualitatively new character due to their complexity, including the simultaneous employment of all branches of the Air Force aviation, anti-aircraft artillery and radar troops and close teamwork with units of other armed services of the armed forces. Operational and combat training has included the following activities. Aviation units have performed more than 6,000 tasks in combat scenarios. 5 tactical flying missions in a squadron, 14 in a pair and 5 in a flight organization have been carried out to perform the assigned combat tasks, and 54 pilots have been trained to perform specific tasks in difficult meteorological conditions. The number of flight crews being trained to defend the airspace of the country and counter-terrorism air operations has almost doubled from 46 in 2005 to 90 in 2006. the units of anti-aircraft artillery and radar troops carried out 50 maneuvers involving redeployment, with each operator tracking 70 and 140 real and simulated targets, respectively. In early September 2007, the Ukrainian Air Force conducted the most large-scale training of its aircraft to date. As the Defense Minister of Ukraine, Anatoly Yatsenko stated, the most large-scale, during the whole 16 years of the Ukrainian independence, training of fighting aircraft, which defends our airspace, was carried out during September 4 Euro 5. According to him, they fulfilled 45 battle launches of a Euro or Euro missiles, out of them 22 during the day and 23 at night. 35 pilots confirmed their high skills during the training. Yatsenko stressed that 100% of air targets were hit. The combined training of the Air Force of Ukraine and the Russian Air Force in the practical control of their air defense standby forces has become more systematic. Moreover, interoperability has been achieved between the forces of Ukraine and the command and control elements of the air defense of the Russian Federation during the detecting, tracking, and neutralizing of air targets during simulated terrorist attacks. Air Defense Forces. The Air Defense Force is a relatively new service within the armed forces, established in 2004 Euro 2005, through the merging of the Air Force and the Air Defense Force. It allowed the armed forces of Ukraine to adopt the tri-service structure, common to most modern armies. The Air Defense of Ukraine performs key tasks in the protection of Ukraine's sovereignty and the inviolability of its borders and airspace. It has clearly defined functions in both peacetime and wartime, is intended to prevent any enemy air and missile strikes, to defend the most important administrative, political and industrial centers, to aid in the concentration of Army and Navy units, to intercept enemy aircraft and other military objects, and to protect against enemy air and cruise missile strikes. Aircraft inventory. During the 2014 Crimean crisis, the Ukrainian Air Force equipment in Crimea was seized by Russia during its annexation of Crimea. On April 8, 2014, an agreement had been reached between Russia and Ukraine for the withdrawal of an undisclosed number of Ukrainian aircraft seized in Crimea. It should be noted that the numbers below may not reflect actual inventory, due to combat losses during the current conflict in eastern Ukraine. Former aircraft structure. An incomplete structure of the Ukrainian Air Force. Training. National Aerospace University Kharkiv Aviation University Euro 203rd Training Aviation Brigade Chuhuiv, Kharkiv Oblast. L39, and 26. National Aviation University Euro Faculty of Military Preparation, Kyiv College of the Air Force, Vasilkiv, Kyiv Oblast. Joint Training Center Euro a Regiment of Remote-Controlled Aerial Vehicles. Air Command West, 1st Radio Brigade. Lipniki, Lviv Oblast. 76th Single Regiment Communication and Management, Lviv, 114th Tactical Aviation Brigade, 7th Tactical Aviation Brigade, 456th Assault Regiment Euro Airbase was closed, 223rd Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 11th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 540th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, LDARZ State Aviation Maintenance Plant. Air Command Center, 31st Separate Regiment Command and Communication, A. Separate Radio Brigade, 40th Separate Radio Brigade, 40th Tactical Aviation Brigade 16 MiG-29, 831st Tactical Aviation Brigade, 9th Tactical Aviation Brigade a Euro Airbase was closed, 25th Transport Aviation Brigade, 15th Transport Aviation Brigade, 456th Transport Aviation Brigade, 96th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade, 137th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade, 120th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade, 302nd Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 108th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 138th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 156th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 3rd Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, CHARZ Aviation Repair Plant, Aviacon. Aviation Repair Plant. Air Command South, 43rd Separate Regiment Communication and Management, 14th Separate Radio Team, 299th Tactical Aviation Brigade, 28th Separate Mixed Aviation Squadron, 160th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade, 208th Guards Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade, 301st Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, MARP Aircraft Repair Plant. Task Force of Crimea Peninsula is under the control of the Russian Armed Forces. Crimea is currently under dispute by Russia and Ukraine. On April 8, 2014, an agreement had been reached between Russia and Ukraine for the withdrawal of an undisclosed number of Ukrainian aircraft seized in Crimea. Separate Radio Team, 204th Tactical Aviation Brigade. Former 62nd Fighter Aviation Regiment PVO. From March 1, 2014, Belbek Air Base and its 45 MiG-29s and 4 L-39s are under the control of the Russian Armed Forces. 174th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 50th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment, 55th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment. See also, Antonov, Ukrainian Falcons Aerobatic Demonstration Team, Air Force Ranks and Insignia of Ukraine. Notes. References: Operation Crimea 2014, Air Forces Monthly, March 1994, The Ukrainian Army, warme.iatp.org.ua, Analysis of the Ukrainian Security Policy, Other images from Foxbat.ru, Ukraine as a post-Cold War military power, Ukrainian Air Force, photos from Ukrainian Air Force Museum in Kiev and Poltava, external links, Air Force pages on the official site of Ministry of Defense, in English, in Ukrainian. Photo gallery of the Ukrainian Air Force and Ukrainian Falcons in flight. Obsolete 1990s pennants and patches, Lindenhill imports, photos of Ukrainian Air Force, th micron th degree th 1/2 thn euro th 3/4 th squared, Alexandrov, th micron th degree th 1/2 thn euro, Alexander, th 3/4 th 3/4 n euro n florin th paragraph th micron th 1/2 th 1/2 n th micron n th n th pn euro th degree th 1/2 n th 1/2 th degree 1 n th 1/2 th squared th degree n euro n 2001 th cubed. Armed Forces of Ukraine on January 1, 2001, AU, Soldata.